been that day for me. Yeah, yeah.
Welcome to TUnfiltered. I'm Tatiana, aka T, and this is my little tutu.
Tutu.
Also known as Bobby Lee.
Yeah, but today I'm going to be called Tutu.
So the whole time we're just going to keep saying tutu until y'all stop watching
It's really
and
good
listening.
to be here. Thank you.
I'm
a
really-
little too loud. It's blowing my mind. Oh, there we go. That's fine.
You can adjust it to whatever makes you happy.
I have a very loud voice.
You do?
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
You know you're my favorite, right?
You're my favorite too.
No, generally speaking, you're my favorite.
You're genetically very good.
Oh.
Look at your face.
Seriously?
It's genetically perfect too. Look at my face.
No, you're beautiful.
It's a perfect circle.
No, you're perfect circle.
Yeah, it's a circle. It's like a yellow moon. My face.
You're like the moon and the stars
Yeah,
and everything
thank
in
you.
between. So I know you're super busy, so I'm really grateful that you're here today.
Are you kidding me? I didn't even know I was going to do it until today, but I wanted
Can
to
you
come so badly.
pretend like you've been?
No, I've been looking forward to it from last week, but then I had amnesia.
I
what I
heard
meant to
you had
say.
an advent calendar and you were leading up to the day every day.
Yes, I was.
So like,
For the last 3 years.
yeah,
Even
exactly.
before the studio was built.
Before the show even existed.
Yeah, I started checking it and stuff. You know what I mean?
So our show is it's an interview series with creators for creators. You're the creator.
Of
There are
what?
creators who are content.
Oh, yeah, I do create
Comedy.
comedy contents.
I mean,
yeah.
you're basically a genius.
I'm not a
in
genius.
my opinion.
Oh, thank you.
You're hilarious.
Who's the guy with the hand thing? What happened to his hand?
So that's Steven.
Yeah.
Steven, what did happen to your hand? Oh, I know.
It's an exciting story then. Good.
He's
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
zoo,
yeah.
if you guys can't hear, and tigers escaped and clawed his hands.
That's cool.
So that's what happened.
That's awesome.
Now that we got that out of the way, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So the whole series is designed to inspire people who may be a young little tutu coming up in the world,
Yeah.
trying to become a grown tutu like yourself.
Yeah. Well, the thing for me is that I didn't know I wanted to do what I'm doing until I was doing it.
Just like you just showed up on the show.
I
You didn't even know.
I live my life. I wake up and I go, okay, I don't stress about things. And I go, what do I need to do today? And I do it the best I can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a stand-up comic. So
Yeah,
I
I know.
started stand-up in 95. And so I was working at a coffee shop and it closed. And then right next door was a comedy club. And I just...
A pretty famous comedy club.
Well, the Comedy Store, but back then the San Diego
La
one
Jolla.
wasn't that popular, and I got a job there first as a bar back, and then a month later I did open mic night, and then 5 years later I did Jay Leno, and then
But there, like, so much happened in between that day. So we're gonna talk about all that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
stand-up is, in my opinion, one of the hardest things on earth to do. And people are there in the crowd wanting people to crash and burn on stage. They don't want to laugh.
Well, that's you probably.
No, I laugh.
Yeah.
I'm the generous. No.
Yeah.
I am a generous over laugher, and I snort sometimes, only because I know that shit's hard.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, it's my biggest fear to stand up there and like, you are there to entertain people, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's a lot of pressure. And if you're having an off day and people don't laugh, how do you not run off the stage crying?
Well, because you have to build a thick skin,
Mm-hmm.
and I was very sensitive. But eventually, and if I had a bad show, it would really affect me. Like I wouldn't be able to sleep. But then eventually, what happens is that you stop caring.
Is it because you have so many reps in and you're going every
No,
night?
because you realize that if they don't like you, what is the consequence really? Nothing. Nothing happens. It's all my own internal perceptions and how I feel about it. So it's like, I saw a guy bomb on TV. I don't want to name who it was, but he wasn't doing well on TV. I was living in San Diego and I was watching it, and he was bombing, but there was like no canned laughter. But he seemed fine with it.
Yeah.
So because he seemed fine with it, I was okay with it watching him. And then I thought it was cool that he was like, didn't care.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm funny, can I say fuck?
Yeah.
I
You
just
just
said
did.
it. Yeah.
You
fuck
just,
these people,
You just did.
But there's kids here, that's why.
I think he
They're
just
fine?
shrugged.
You okay, guys?
They're cool.
All right, cool.
They're the coolest kids
Yeah,
you'll
they're
ever
really
meet.
cute and cool.
Yeah, they are.
So what happens is you eventually you grow immune to people's
Is it
opinion
more
of
about
you.
becoming immune, or is it more about like building up the inner confidence and saying, you know what, I'm here. I'm not going to let them tear me down. I'm not going to let them tell me I'm not good enough.
Well, bombing is inevitable no matter what
What
level
do
you
you consider
are.
bombing? People not laughing?
Yeah.
Just,
Or just like, you're telling jokes, no one's laughing.
yeah.
Or like something happens in the room where you lose control of the room and there's nothing you can do about it. For me, it's like that's inevitable. No matter what level you are at, you're going to go through that. So for me, it's just like, realizing that this is not my night. And
you get back up?
I don't really give a fuck about these people.
And you just, okay. And then I care about you.
And I care about you personally, but like,
yeah.
also I'm not one of those comics that's like, I have a great job. I'm trying to make people laugh and escape their daily, routines of, and I don't know, mine is a war.
You're at war.
I don't view the audience as somebody I'm trying to help.
Okay.
I view them as somebody I have to defeat.
Oh.
Right? Like an animal that I have to tame. And sometimes I can't tame that animal. I think that's the way I get through it,
Yeah. What has been the biggest challenge? Like, is there like a consistent thing that came up for you in the earlier days that had you lose control? Was there something in what you were doing?
Well, I mean, you had a lot of comics locally in San Diego who were like, you have to do it this way, or, you're too dirty. Because I'm still very dirty on stage. I swear a lot. I talk about things that, God wouldn't like, but Jesus or whatever. Or they go, you have to wear a suit to do corporate gigs and do all these things. And I just thought to myself, I'm just going to just do what I do. I'm going to wear what I wear. I'm going to say what I say. If I never make it, I never make it. But at the end of the day, what happened was I stuck to my guns, and I just started, even in San Diego, like if a headliner would walk in, like, someone like Pauly Shore or Dice Clay or something like that, and they would see me, there was something about me that they liked. And so I started opening for all these guys like Carlos Mencia from San Diego. So I just stuck to my guns, and I still stick to my guns, even when I'm acting and a director gives me a note. Sometimes I just can't do it the way they want me to do it. So I'm just going to do it the way I think
Is it because
serves
you don't,
this project.
and it doesn't feel authentic to like you and who you are as an artist, maybe?
Well, sometimes I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I just don't know what they're saying, and I can't do it. So I just kind of stick to my guns and do my thing. I got booed off a stage in front of 20,000 people.
When was that?
Maybe
Was that earlier?
6, 7, 8 years ago.
So that was recently.
Yeah.
This is after you've made it.
Yeah, 20,000 people booed me off stage, and
Where was that?
up at North. It was in San Jose.
Do you know what caused the booing? Did you
I
just
just
say
wasn't.
something?
I had to follow Leslie Jones, and she was on fire that night. And
They actually booed you off the stage?
Well, I don't remember because I blacked out. I blacked out first, so I don't know exactly what happened. But I was on for stage for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I just kind of blacked out. And then I was backstage in some room with my shirt off because I was sweating so hard. And I remember my agent, Matt, was next to me, and he was cackling, like laughing, just maniacally. I go, what happened? He goes, I've never seen anyone bomb like that.
Do you even remember what was happening?
He just said you started doing gibberish.
So you were literally just not
I was going,
there.
you know what I mean? And then I remember that night I was in the hotel room, and I was like laying there, right? And that just, you kind of relive certain parts of it that that you remember, and then just eventually just kind of go, all right, that happened, and then you wake up and you're fine. Yeah, breakfast.
So one of the questions we ask all the artists and the creators on here, and everybody we have on is super successful, and you are no exception. We always ask about like the worst day you got to before I even got to. For you, was that?
Oh, that's not even the worst day. I have so many bad days that I can't even,
So
I have like 50 stories of bad.
Was there a day that, so you woke up the next day and you had breakfast, you were fine, you moved on. Was there a day that you almost just said, I'm done, I'm quitting this. This is not
Yeah,
for
I
me.
mean, but that had nothing to do with the show. It had to do with the trajectory of my career.
Well, that's just as important of a conversation because I think a lot of people set these goals.
Yeah.
And a lot of times these goals, you're already hitting them and you're already really successful, but to you, you're not. So you think you're failing.
Yeah, but I am failing.
No, you're not.
I know, but the thing is that here's the thing. I don't want to fight with you.
I do.
Yeah.
I want to fight.
Yeah, but the way and this is probably not healthy, but the way I get through things is I have to motivate myself. And for me to motivate myself, I have to create these rivalries and an atmosphere that's going to get me out of where I'm at.
Where does that come from?
I think Korean. I don't know. Koreans do it. You know, I know a lot of Koreans are like that. But
there's a lot of pressure.
Like there was a point where like, you know, I was on a show called MADtv for 8 years.
Never
it was a
heard
sketch
of
show.
it.
Well,
I think it's
got canceled.
Yeah, but you were basically the star of the show.
No, there was
yes, you were.
Well, thank you, but I
yes,
don't
you
think.
were.
Key and Peele.
You made history with that show,
and you know, Alex Borstein did very well.
They're all great, but so are you.
Thank you.
I feel like you're the type of person you would win like 10 Oscars and still think you're not doing it.
Maybe
some people are like that. Yeah.
Well, here's what happened. So then after MADtv was over, I couldn't get any work at all. Like I couldn't, you know, get an audition. I couldn't get anything going, and for years.
Why do you think that was? The show was successful.
No, we would call casting directors, and they would say, "Yeah, he was on MADtv though, so we're not gonna." They didn't like the show. People only later liked the show, you know, because the kids that watched it all became in their 20s, and they started having some sort of power, and then people from my show started blowing up, like Key and Peele blew up, Ike Barinholtz started doing well, you know, Alex, Will Sasso, a bunch of these people, people just started working, and then we became kind of cool, but in the beginning, it was terrible, and my doctor, Ken Jeong, started working a lot, and him and I are the same type, and he was just getting every role, and I couldn't even get in the room to compete for those roles. And so I just kind of sat around and said, you know, I look back and I go, I did it. I did 8 years on a show. I did stand-up. I did Tonight Show. I did a couple of lines in a couple of movies. I think that's fine. Mm-hmm. Let's get out of here. And then,
but you didn't.
No, but the reason why I didn't is because I didn't know what else to do. Like if something else had come up for me to like, you have to survive and make money. So for me, the only way to make money was to do stand-up. So I would do shows on the road. So I was always touring. Mm-hmm. So every year I would just be doing 30, 40 dates, weekends, whatever. And then you're just out in like Nebraska or Illinois, and you're just out there grinding it out. And sometimes you would make good money, sometimes you wouldn't. But you know, you have to survive as a human being in this society. Mm-hmm. And then what happened was, you know, what I realized is that it's, you know, that whole analogy of waves was true. So like, you know, MADtv was a wave that I rode for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then I caught the wave, went back out there, and I waited for the next wave. And I waited for years, but a wave came along. So another wave came along. So what happened was I got this show called Animal Practice. It was a NBC, it was a show about veterinarians. It was a sitcom, and there was a monkey in it. And then
dope.
I was in The Dictator, and then I booked another pretty big thing. And then after those things were over, I waited another 3 years. And then now I'm on a new wave now, which is I did this Viceland show. I did Love a little bit. I'm on a sitcom now, and I did a couple of movies, and I have my podcast is doing well. So I'm in the biggest wave that I've ever been on. So
how are you feeling right now?
I feel great. I feel good. I feel so grateful. Thank you, Lord. No,
But you're in a good place right now.
Yeah.
Life's good, right?
Yeah, I'm on a wave, and I'm riding this wave, and then I don't know how long this wave is gonna last. Hopefully, it lasts for a while. But if it doesn't, I know that, you know, I'm always gonna be out there. And so, you know, what I realize about myself is that I'm always gonna try. Which is because here's the thing: is that you have these dreams and these goals. But, you know, I think it's the human condition where nothing ever really just kind of completely satisfies you.
No, because you get to the next one, and then you see the mountain right above, and you're like, oh, one more year and I can get there.
And you also realize that you think that it's going to fix you in some way. Mm-hmm. That
Absolutely.
If I get this, and this, I'm going to feel this way, and then everything will be great. But what you realize is that you can never escape yourself. And I have so many issues and problems and, you know, mental, you know, anguish that I have to fix those things internally for me to ever be happy. And I refuse to because of the fact that I think that it's going to affect my comedy in some way.
So you think that in some ways, the trauma and all the stuff you've gone through makes you the funny person that you are.
Yeah, but I'm also impossible to live with. Like my girlfriend is at the end.
Why? Tell me why you're so impossible to live with.
I can't even begin. If this was a 5-hour podcast,
Yeah.
but I am a living nightmare.
Give us an example.
I'm like Joffrey. I'm Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
No, you're
lighting
not.
things on fire. Yeah,
No.
yeah. Like you see me now, and you're like, oh, he's like a soft kind of like Asian guy. He's funny. I'm cray.
I think you're hard on yourself.
No, I'm cray.
You're cray.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'll tell you that. I'll give you one story. Of
Great.
Why
We love story time here.
So I was playing this game called Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
Have you guys heard of that game?
Oh, those are your
they
children?
both looked at. No,
Are they-
they're not.
oh.
No, my good friend's nephews. They're just.
You guys
here.
play that game? Yeah. So I was playing Red Dead Redemption, and one of the little goals was to kill 5 cougars with an arrow. But cougars are very difficult to find in the game. It's like, let me ask you something. How many Eskimos have you met in your life?
None that I remember.
Exactly. That's what cougars are in the game.
Okay.
You never see them.
Okay.
So, so I finally it took me like 5 hours to find a cougar. So I have my bow and arrow, and I'm going back like this, and then my girlfriend goes, "Bobby," and I look over like this, and I turn back. The cougar had bit my neck, right, and then I died. I threw down the control, sweetie, like screamed, like anger.
Oh no.
And she starts crying. She goes, "Yeah, I don't know when to talk to you." You know what I mean? I go, "We're not playing never." And I'm just like, I'm 47 years old. Who acts like that? It's the fucking video game.
You're passionate. You're not Joffrey because you got upset over a video game. You're a passionate person.
Oh, but then I do Joffrey things like this though. Here's
You're
Joffrey
like, and then I
things.
choked her.
Oh, I have before, but in fun.
I was joking.
In fun. I'm kidding. I know we're live. Listening. No, I'm good. I've never broken the law.
Ever.
And I love my girlfriend so much. But I do stuff like for my openers. Like sometimes I'm on the road, and my opener is about to go up on stage. I'll block him from going on stage. They just said my name. I go, yeah, I know, but you're not going up now.
How do you block?
There's a door usually to the stage.
And you just block the
and
door?
I just block the door
but
like
you're
this.
just being funny.
Yeah, but I'll block it for like 2 minutes.
Why?
Just to see them suffer.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
And then they start sweating, and then I go, okay, now you can go up on stage. Yeah. Or I'll say, you'll never open for me again unless you hopscotch across the stage 20 times.
Is this your version of hazing?
Yeah. And they go, but it has nothing to do with my act. I go, you need to hopscotch.
You're
never gonna open for me again. So then
need to
if I watch them on stage, I see them hopscotching on stage.
Oh my God. Wow.
Or I'll tell an opener, if you don't say yabba dabba doo 5 times during your act, and you can't tell the audience why you're saying it, right? You have to do that. So they'll go yabba dabba doo, and then just go into their act. It's so fun for me. But that's very Joffrey-esque.
I was not expecting that story. I'll tell you that much.
Does that mean?
No, I actually
Thank
think
you.
that's playful.
It's playful.
It's like fun older brother hazing. You're just, like you've worked up the ranks and now they're just paying their yabba dabba dues.
Yeah.
It's good. Come on, can I open for you?
I like it. Do you do stand-up?
No.
Why?
Because I would shit my pants publicly.
You would have you ever shit your pants publicly?
Yes, and privately.
Yeah, me too.
No, but I'm just saying, like, to me, my biggest fear is standing on a stage and talking to a bunch of people. This is why I love hosting and doing things on a camera, because you don't see who you're talking to. It's great.
What if you did this live though?
I mean, we're live right now,
I know, but in
I
front
can't
of like a big
see.
studio audience, like 3,000.
I don't know. That might make me
people.
really nervous.
Really?
Yeah. That's why I commend you guys for what you do, because not only are you up there and doing your thing, but you're expected to deliver something that will make everybody have an emotional reaction to you. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but you're doing exactly what I do without an audience.
Yeah, but like in my head, I think they're laughing. When I said yabba dabba doo, I'm like, I'm so funny in my head.
Yeah.
But they laugh because I pay them.
Right. Right. But what I'm saying to you is this is what'll end up happening is you do what you do on stage and you're going to be able to like, if they don't laugh, you'll be able to handle it.
I actually think I'm quite funny, Bobby.
You are funny. So,
can I call you Robert?
Yeah, call me Robert. So you should try it.
I should. Can I open for you? You would never let me open for you because there'd be shit on your stage.
No, can I say this? Mm-hmm. If you said to me, I want to try it, like this is what I do. I play the Irvine Improv once a year, and I always have new comics go up and for like people have never done it before. I had Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor on Smallville. He did it for the first time opening for me there. Will Sasso, who was a MADtv guy, he did it there. And I always have new people do it there. It's in front of like 600-700 people. And if you ever wanted to do it, you should try it.
So like, I think I'm funny in a, like I can play off of you way, but comedians are storytellers. So you'll get up there and you'll talk about a very ordinary thing and it becomes hilarious. I don't know. You're like,
Yeah, you can do it.
So like, what do you just take a regular thing that happened in your day and then you just exaggerate it? Because it's not all true.
Well,
There's exaggeration.
There is like ways to like, listen, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. But I'm just saying.
I want to be the next Bobby Lee.
No, do you want to try? Have you ever thought about doing it though?
Everyone I know, and I'm not trying. This is not the Tatiana show.
Yeah.
Right now, it's all about you. But everyone I know tells me I should do improv. But my biggest fear. I'm telling you, take away the crowds. I would do it.
Improv is different though.
Well,
you should try improv first. Because you're with other people.
And then you can like bounce.
Yeah, you bounce people. But stand-up is, you're by yourself.
Yeah, and everyone's just looking at you like, make me laugh. That's why I always snort and laugh really loud in the audience. Because I'm like, I'm pathetic.
Yeah, but there is something about being up there.
And hearing the roar.
Or even silence.
Yeah.
And people just staring at you. And they're listening to every word that you're saying. There's just something about that that's like going to church or something.
Yeah.
Like very kind of spiritual. And I know I don't want to sound narcissistic or like or self-centered or whatever, but
people are there to see you. I mean,
there is a thing where you're like, and then like sometimes I have a great show and the audience, they'll stand or something after, and then I can go out there and it just there's something about it that's better than anything else that's ever existed.
Yeah. No, I mean, I believe that.
Yeah.
And when you have a good show like that, you're reminded why you're doing what you do.
Yeah.
And I think that, so is comedy stand-up specifically something that, because you're booking shows and you're on television and you're doing movies, is comedy something in the stand-up world that you will always do no matter what because it feeds your soul?
Well, what happened was when I was on MADtv for 8 years, I really didn't do it that much. Because in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm on TV now.
Because that was like I made it.
Yeah, and I'm like, it was just like I got it in 2000, and I was young, and I was like, yeah. And then you're like, we have, I remember the first year I was there, Green Day played, and you see like, guest stars like Anna Faris or Ryan Reynolds, people just kind of guest starring on the show, and you're like there, and you're like, I'm a part of it. And then when the show ended, I didn't concentrate on stand up, and so when I had to go on the road, I didn't really have the time or the material to do it, but I had to do it to pay my mortgage because I bought a house. So I was drowning. On stage, I was frantically trying to figure it out every show. And that first year was really tough. Sometimes I would have to do 45 and I'd get off after like 25. The club owner was like, you only did 25 minutes? I go, I don't know what else to do. I had no more jokes, Yeah. And then be like, yeah, but next show you have to do 45 because that's what we're paying you for,
Yeah.
So it was just really tough after that. But so I made a vow never to stop. So even now when I'm on, I'm only like fifth lead on a sitcom, but
no, but that's
but still when I'm working during the week, even though I'm tired, I'll still go up.
You should. You actually have a show coming up this week, don't you?
I have a big show this Saturday with
pretty big.
You have a big show with Bill Burr, Mark Maron, Eliza Schlesinger, David Spade.
That's a massive
Anthony
show.
Jeselnik and me. And we're playing the Fonda, Fonda Theater.
That's a big show. How does like that's an all-star lineup.
Yeah, but I know all of them really well, so it
that's
doesn't
what I was
sound, it
gonna
doesn't
ask you.
sound that special.
Well, to me, like for people who are not in the squad like you, I mean, I'm not a part of the crew. That's a great lineup.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, but again, it's like I've been to Bill's house. I just saw Mark over the weekend. I don't. These are people that I'm. First of all,
but I'm referring to you as well, by the way. That's
but
that's a show I would pay to go see.
Here's how fucked up my mind is, though. Sorry for swearing. Here's how fucked up. I'm first on the lineup, though. So it goes me, and then everyone else. But it's only us on the show. But they always have me open because I have high energy. I hate it.
You don't like opening for shows?
I'm always first or second because I have high energy, like my out, you know what I mean? And I'm this like, kind of a high energy kind of a guy. And it's like, I serve a purpose, I guess.
I mean, people go I specifically, like on a Friday or Saturday night, if we want to go to a show. Oh.
It's not marijuana.
That's fine.
It's just a jewel because I quit smoking.
No, you don't have to cover it up.
Yeah, I quit because of kids here. I quit smoking and for 2 years, but I've been addicted to these jewels.
Let me see.
Well,
what
this
is
one,
that?
it's just a it's a.
Is that a vape?
Yeah.
I just sounded like such a grandma. Is that a vape? What is that?
You look like somebody that do you drink?
I mean, I love a good glass of vino, but it's got to be a full body Tempranillo.
Yeah. Do you smoke marijuana?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You have children?
No.
Oh.
I have a French bulldog. Does that count?
I have dogs as well.
Yeah. But why?
But why do you do not do those things?
I don't know. I'm just like a control freak, and I don't like being out of control.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to college in Miami, so I was Satan for 4 years, basically.
Yeah.
But then, when you get that out of your system, you become like the second coming of Christ.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like I got it out of my system, and now I'm on that path.
Well, I've been sober for 16 years, right?
That's
but I was
dope.
a full-blown drug addict.
Yeah.
And I've always struggled with addiction and alcoholism. Even as a kid, I went to my first rehab at the age of 14.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I went to rehabs until I was 17, and then I went to this place called the McDonald Center, and that's where I first got sober the first time. And I stayed sober for 13 years. And then when I got on MADtv, I relapsed.
Yeah.
And I started doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I got sober 2 years after that. But that 2 years was the worst 2 years of my life.
The years that you were getting sober?
No, the 2 years. So when I was 13 years sober, I got MADtv, and then I was partying the first 2 years I was at MADtv. And those first 2 years at MADtv was the worst 2 years of my life. Are we done now?
No, he's just checking the camera. He's like, he started talking about drugs. Shut it down.
Shut it down. We're not allowed to talk about drugs?
No. We
because I don't do it anymore.
This show is called TUnfiltered, meaning there's no filter. We want you to be like, this interview for me is a dream because you're being honest and you're not doing like the PR, everything's perfect thing, which no one can relate to, by the way.
Yeah.
Because people out there are dealing with the same exact thing. So, and also you're a success story. So it's great to share this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I would have any of the things that I have. Even when I did stand up when I was 23, when I told you I was working at a coffee shop and all that, I was very like active in my recovery, and the reason why I even did stand up was because one night I was at a men's meeting, and I was 23 years old. It was a Friday night. I was at this men's meeting, and I was a speaker. I was the first speaker. So I spoke, at this meeting, and this old man after the meeting comes up to me and he goes, I'd never seen him before or after that, by the way. And he goes, hey, kid, you should do stand-up.
Was it Rocky Balboa?
Does that what it sounds like?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, and then he's like, here's some gloves also.
Yeah. And I go, really? He goes,
Whoa.
There's something about, I know I've never seen you before, but up there, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in a meeting. It's supposed to be real, but so that planted a seed, and then a month later I did it because that guy said it, But so without me being sober, I don't think I wouldn't be here right now because everything just led up to,
Everything.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I think that's really inspiring for people who might be in a dark time right now, or they're in a rut and they do have big dreams, but they just can't get out of it. You've had, like you said, waves of things that come and go. What has been the thing? There's got to be something that has pulled you out of those moments, because there are dark times. Like, what has it just been internal?
No, I mean,
People around you?
no. It's basically you can see kind of into the future you can see where your life is going to end up. Mm-hmm. It's that, like, in 6 months I could die kind of a thing, where you go, if I keep doing this, I'm going to lose everything, and a lot of people, they just go to the end, right? But for me, I'm lucky I can just see, imminent, danger. So I just kind of go, I'm going to quit right here because I don't want to die, And I have parents that are still alive. I have a brother. I have family, and
You have a girlfriend who loves you.
I have a girlfriend. Yes, you can't, you don't want to destroy yourself. You have responsibilities.
Why do you think drugs and partying is so relevant in the comedy world?
Well, it's
is it just because you're up late at night and you've got to like get yourself going? Because there's obviously a trend with comedians, right?
Well, I mean, why do we do what is the need to go up on stage and make strangers laugh? There is a weird thing.
But that's you being an entertainer.
No,
right?
There's also, I think, as a stand-up especially, there's something else going on there, of like this need for it, because you're not doing it. I don't care what anyone comic says. You're not doing it to make people happy.
Is it a power thing?
You're doing it to feed something that's missing in your life, or something that you're, lacking, right?
What is it for you?
For me, it's like, the reason why I relapsed in the first place is because I replaced stand-up comedy for spirituality, right? So, in order for one to get sober, in my opinion, is that you need some sort of divine intervention or some spiritual, awakening, right? But what ended up happening is I started doing stand-up, and the audience's applause and their affirmation filled whatever that thing that I was missing. Where I was supposed to fill it with spirituality, I filled it with something that was just kind of like fleeting, like people's, applause. And I thought it was spiritual. It did fix me for a while, but it's like any other drug. It's not real, really, So now I don't take myself that seriously. Even if I'll go to some markets, I'll sell out. I was in Bury, I sold out. Sold like 1,500 tickets, and rooms packed. I come out, they cheer. I do it, but afterwards, I don't have that thing like, oh, I'm special. I just gotta go. That's my job, and I say hi to people. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's just. It's a weird thing. Even on the street, when people go, "Can I get a photo?" Yeah. Well, I don't know why you would want one, but yeah, like, I don't have that. You see a lot of comedians that were nice, but then they make it, and they're just full of fucking douchebags, and they buy it, and they swim in their own like narcissism and their ego, and they think there's something special, and then they crash. I'm not that.
No, you're definitely not. We're not going to name names, but there was a comedian who was supposed to be on our show. And this person did not want to come to the studio because it was in the middle of Hollywood, and they were afraid that they were going to get mobbed. And in my head, I'm just like, you're not going to get mobbed. And it's great.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're really funny. But we've had people in the studio who have like 50 million followers, and they didn't get mobbed because people have like a sense of respect. Right?
Yeah.
But to me, that was like the craziest thing. And I was just like, okay, I want your safety is more important to me. So stay home.
Yeah. Would I know who this comedian is?
You might.
Okay. I so want to know so badly.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Oh, it's going to give me nightmares.
But also, like, it's fine. I get that. And also it is a weird time right now where I think celebrities do have to take an extra layer of security because people are crazy. Fans are crazy. I'm sure you've had a...
No.
Have you ever had a crazy... No? Have you ever had a crazy fan story?
No, because for me, it's like, how can you, we especially with the internet and social media and also YouTube stars. Like, for instance, this is funny. I went into that lobby because there's a hotel, right? And I ran into this kid. I took a photo with him. This kid, Casper, right? He's like a huge YouTube star from England.
Okay.
He's got like 4 million, 5 million followers on Instagram. He's a big star. The reason why I know him is because I did his movie. I played the bad guy. Him and this other guy, YouTube stars, they did a Lionsgate movie, and I was the bad guy, the nemesis in it. And the thing is that, you know, with these kids coming up in social media and YouTube and their power with all the followers and this and that, there is no way to become a star anymore. You know, it's not like in the 80s, you know, where if you were on a sitcom, there was only 4 channels.
Yeah.
And you were an instant star. I mean, you would get like 30 million people watch your show. I'm on a TV show now. It feels like I'm on doing community theater.
Yeah, things
like
have changed
nobody has
so much.
ever said to me, I love you on that show. Not one time. Right? So how do you know, if I was on, you know, the original Roseanne or Cosby Show or Seinfeld,
like
you know,
a cult classic,
like a huge show, that's one thing. But if you're not on a show like that, there's no way to behave that way because there's no real reason. Mm-hmm. Because the people don't give a fuck. This is Hollywood. I live right down the street, you know, and I've done a million things. I walk down the street, like 1 out of every 100 person will say, "Can I get a photo?" But like, you know, even when I'm on the road, you know, in Canada, I'm a bigger star just because MADtv was bigger then. Still, it's like, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Mobbed, what the fuck is that? I want to know who this person is.
No, it's okay. It's cool. I'm complete with it.
You are?
I'm complete with it.
Okay, good.
I mean, like, I let things go. It's like, fine.
Yeah, but I'm not complete with it. You know?
So on the topic of influencers, what do you think about like this new wave of celebrity coming in? You've got like these huge YouTube stars that are taking, I don't want to say taking television roles because they're getting them, right?
No.
But how do you feel about this new wave of celebrity, this new wave of actor?
Here's the thing. It's that YouTube stars on TV shows, it's like they still have to compete with us, right?
Yeah.
It's like when I'm in an audition and I'm testing for a network and you're performing in front of the executives and the president of a network and you have to kill it, go ahead, try.
Yeah.
Because they don't, at that point, they don't care how many followers you are. You have to get the part.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
for me, it's like there's more people to
so they're
compete
getting in
with.
the door, but they're not necessarily.
Yeah, but I got in the door my own way. But the thing is that I feel a little bit. This is going to be difficult to say. But I'm going to say it in my own way. When I was coming up, we had no internet, so there was only one way to do it, really. And there was actually only 2 ways to do it. There was, as a stand-up especially, is you get really good. 15 years later, you become a headliner, and then you come to LA, and then see what happens. Or you come to LA before that, and hopefully you can act as well. You can luckily land a part, and then get it that way, right? And so I did doorman, washing dishes, to come to LA, the Comedy Store in Hollywood, cleaning the roof, cleaning the basement, checking IDs for years. Then you climb up to like your first TV spot, and then you climb up to, you know, getting auditions. So I did it the way it was set up, okay? And so there's something, I didn't do it in my bedroom and all of a sudden straight to, you know, the casting office. No, I did it. You know, I'm from a place called Poway, California, and in Poway, my parents are immigrants. They owned clothing stores. They don't speak English. They don't know what Hollywood is. I have no connection to Hollywood. So what I had to do was I had to do an open mic to where I'm at now. And that road is long and hard, but I did it. And there was something about me. I sometimes, you know, I'll close my eyes and I'll go, I can't believe that you did it. And I had a lot of hardships on the way, but
nobody handed you a single thing.
yeah. And there is a sense of pride, I guess, when it comes to that, you know,
Absolutely.
that I did it. But you don't, in your head, you don't go, you know, I'm going to make it. You just do what's in front of you. And back then it was like, oh, I got booked at this coffee shop on Friday. I'm going to go do that. Oh, I get to host a show where there's a headliner. I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to make $20 if I do a show in Escondido. I'm going to do that. And you just live your life. How am I going to pay rent? How am I going to, you know, you're like everyone else. And then eventually you don't have a day job. And then eventually you're fine.
But now the system, so you did it that way, right? You worked your way up. Now it's like people are putting these skits on Instagram and on YouTube, and you're seeing some of them open at like Laugh Factory, the Comedy Store. I'm sure you've seen some of them bomb and or do really well.
Well, here's the thing though. It's like still at the end of the day, they get to the Comedy Store or Laugh Factory. They still have to, you know, compete against us. And, you know, this show I'm doing Saturday with Burr and David Spade and all these guys, Jeselnik, they're beasts.
Yeah.
I mean, I know them. They're beasts. And, you know, in a packed room, they also have names. So they have fans. And also they're at the top of their game. So, yeah, I don't care how you got there, but can you follow that? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you this, Papa can. You know,
Papa can.
If Rogan or whoever's on the lineup, I might not do as well, but I have no fear. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to walk off stage and people go, oh, you killed it or whatever, you know. But I only got there because I put in the work and the years, you know. And here's another thing, is that those guys, the reason why you do all the work is because you eventually get the respect of those guys as well. So when you're on stage, you don't feel like you're a faker. You know that you belong there because you have your peers, you know, go, yeah.
And you guys all kind of came up together.
We
so
all came,
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that like, you know, in the beginning, was Joe Rogan and I friends? No, I was this kid and I probably ran and got a drink for him. And I probably, you know, was too scared to talk to him at one point. But one day he says, what's up, dude? And you go, oh yeah, I've been here for a while. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
And then eventually, like, it's so funny because here's the great thing about working at a comedy club as a new comedian is that not only do you meet, because when I started, you know, I saw Sebastian Maniscalco go up the first time, and he bombed. He just sold out 20,000 seats in, I think, Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, right? 25,000 seats, one show, right? I was there when he bombed in front of like 8 people or whatever. And he was like, I don't know if I'm going to do this. I'm not, you know what I mean? And I just saw him grow to this gigantic thing, right? But not only that is, by working at a comedy club, you meet other people that might not be doing stand-up, but they're like, when I came to the Comedy Store, there was a kid named Matt, and he used to hang out at the Comedy Store, and he was a mailroom guy at Gersh. And he used to hang out at the open mics. And I became friends with Matt, and we became very close. And then Matt became an agent at Gersh. And then he became one of the head agents at Gersh. And then he signed me. And then I'm still with Matt. And then Matt went to CAA. He's the head of the comedy department. But I've known him for over 20 years.
Crazy.
And he's my guy. That's why coming to LA as a young person and doing these, like, you know, washing dishes and carrying shit and all these little things, and you meet other people that are struggling. There's another kid named Jordy who I used to do open mics. He was this kind of a bigger orange-haired guy. He'd just wear this green tie on stage. And him and I would do all these open mics here in Hollywood in front of nobody. It was dismal back in the late 90s. And he's one of the executives at Comedy Central now, right? Mm-hmm. And he's my friend. He calls me, hey, you want to do the show? You know, so it's like, you know, that's why that's important. You know, it's not skipping those things. You can go to, you know, do a YouTube video and have it generate an audience, and that's great, and I'm happy for you. But in many ways, I think that this way is better for me because I need allies.
Well, you built a really solid foundation in your community, and I was gonna ask you this question in closing. What is a piece of advice you'd give somebody, the young, hopeful comedian who's doing stand-up? They may be bombing, but I think you just answered it. You just have to put yourself in the community and just immerse yourself in that world, from what I hear, and don't be above taking the mopping job at the Comedy Store.
But I also think that suffering is a part of it. It's the suffering makes you grow. The suffering also, when you start with like 10 guys, eventually 7 of them leave. They quit because they can't handle the suffering. But the 2 or 3 of you that stick around, right? You're closer to, you know, the top. So you can't. The suffering is motivation. It keeps you strong, and
that's so inspiring. Allison's an actress, and today she came in. She's like, I'm just in a mood today, but you know, she's very talented. I'm sorry, I'm calling you out right now. But yeah, and it's just, you have these, especially when you work in the industry. I go through it myself, where I'm just like, why am I doing this? And then I'm like, no, keep on.
I mean, here's the thing about, like, last year, right? I was gonna quit doing acting because I tested for this Warner Brothers show, and it was terrible. I did it in front of the president of the network, and it was a horrible audition, and I wanted to jump off a building. And then this year, my agent goes, "You want to audition for pilot?" I go, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. But what happened was, there was a show that wanted me. I wouldn't audition, but then that president last year, who I tested for, he said pretty much, well, he tested last year, so just give it to him. So you just, you know, just by failing and showing up the year before, and then the year later, you know, I got awarded for me bombing. You know what I mean? But my point is that I didn't quit. I stayed in town, and then, you know, here we are, you know. Anyway, is that it?
I don't even, like, you were the perfect interview. I mean, I promised you guys an inspirational series, and you just basically killed it. I just want to cancel the rest of the series now. You did it all. Are you going to cry?
No.
Are you going to shit your pants?
No.
You don't want to?
No.
You're like, no. But yeah, you guys, Bobby Lee, what a delight. Thank you so much for stopping by. You made us laugh.
Of course.
You got us to think a little. Nobody's quitting anything.
Yeah, don't quit.
Ever. I think that's the general message that I definitely took away from this, is just persevere, and, you know, tenacity gets the gold in the end. So let's put it out in the universe, because I believe in putting things out into the universe. What is Bobby Lee? Is there a goal for 2019? Is there like a mountain you'd like to climb? Not literally, but you know.
I think the next thing I want to do is I want to do a special. That's
what's going to happen then.
Yeah.
2019, Bobby Lee special. Can I have a backstage pass?
Yeah.
Since I'm your opener?
Yeah. You're going to open for me.
Okay, let's put it out there.
In Irvine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bring my diapers. All right, guys.
Don't you guys want to see that? Yeah.
Oh. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next Tuesday, same time, same place. Bye.